Hey, welcome back. Today's episode is Do As I Do. And this episode pertains to, I think we live in a different time now, to do as I say no longer exist. And growing up, obviously, in the 80s and a teenager in the 90s, it was always do as I say. If I wanted to go do something outside, or I had to go do something, my parents would normally just say, you need to go do this or do it like this. But it was just words. Nothing ever, I never really seen it done, almost kind of as if I taught myself. Or my friends would help teach me, and we kind of learn in those ways, and have your parents say the guidelines and you just kind of follow them. Now I have my own preteen and teenager, and do not feel like this is it anymore. And even at work, and I'm gonna tie these together. But even at home, right? I feel that at this time, or these times now, if I really want my kid to go do something, I need to go out and go do it. And not saying that I need to do it perfectly or I need to do it way better than them. In fact, that can probably be another tangent or another episode of, you know, are you the type of person that has to always beat your child in whatever they're doing, and or always have to win to show some kind of, I guess, strength? I'm never like that. Didn't grow up that way. My dad did try to beat me in things, and if he lost, he didn't show it well. But anyways, that's another time. But yeah, I feel now that we're in this time to where I I have to go out and do it so that way I can be the example. And if it comes to like working out or studying, or here's an even simple thing, communicating. I still really feel that, we should live the example of communicating well to others and describing. We had a cool exercise one time at work, and it was pretty neat. It was a good exercise, and this one was basically, um, someone was given a picture, and then one person could only look at it, and they're the describer of that picture. The other person had to draw whatever you were describing. And I really like that exercise on the fact of how descriptive can you be? Are you thinking the way they are thinking? Or are you able to convey descriptors so that way the other person can picture it well enough in their head? And can you minimize assumptions as minimal as possible? And I think it's a great exercise. So that's in the communication side, of course. But if we really want our kids to do better, I feel that we should go out there and be the example, and be there with them. Here's an easy one. If your kid wants to go outside and go on a bike ride, or your kid doesn't want to go outside, or they kind of do, but they just want someone there, well, then go outside and go do it with them. Probably the easiest thing. And maybe they'll take over and you don't have to go outside as much. Because obviously, parenting is tired. How does this translate to school? Well, a lot of the times, behavior people, I won't say a lot of the times, I will say that there are teachers or authoritarians in the school to where do as I say is the way. I'm not a fan of that at all. If here's a good one. In the hallways, you want everything to be quiet and elementary wise. Secondary, a lot of kids can talk, and I think they should. But if it's a zero voice level in the hallway and the adults are talking just like normal, what do you think the kids see? And just think about that. And if you feel there's a little hypocrisy in there, well, obviously there is, because you're not doing what you're telling kids to do. And If they decide not to follow you or follow the directions and talk, well, they saw it from somewhere, right? Here's some cool examples. Sometimes I will have to deal with kids who curse a lot. And to be honest, I'm a cursor. It's just my nature. I haven't done it really here. Maybe it'll come out, right? But my normal speech, normally is kind of how it is. And obviously, don't do that in the school for kids. And if they do, we definitely have to talk about it, depending how they used it, where they used it, how many times they've used it. Different consequences can come up from there. And if a parent meeting has to happen, there have been on many occasions a parent going, "Where have you heard that? We don't say that at home." Okay, that's kind of normal, right? If you're in education, you hear this a few times, a lot of the times. And then sometimes I would escort some parents out with their kids, and I think that they feel that they're far enough away, and then out of nowhere, you'll hear, "What the bloop were you thinking?" Boom, got it. Kids saw it. It's an example, and they say it. Or sometimes the kid would just like flat out say and go, "Well, my dad says it all the time. My mom says it all the time." Okay, there we go. So don't be surprised that your kid did it. Again, another example of do as I do, not do as I say, because we live in a different time. With that, if you're a behavior person, and here's the lesson of today's episode, is look at what you're doing and what example you're trying to show to the kid on what the best behavior is. Okay? If you are the authoritarian and they are listening to you majority of the time, they found a good relationship with you, well then be the example of how you want them to be. Also be honest about it. If you slip up, then you slip up. You can talk to them about that and being honest with them, saying, "Hey, I slipped up. That was inappropriate of myself. I shouldn't be doing this stuff like that." And that is probably the best lesson a kid can ever hear. And if you have other people who the kid might see as an example and they're doing the opposite thing that you're telling them to do, maybe that lesson for that kid is, hey, you're going to run into a lot of people who are not following rules and they think they can do whatever they want, but it doesn't mean that you can't. And look at the people who can do it and who are doing it. And maybe you're that behavior person that is doing it, right? And if you're not doing it and you change your behavior, be honest about it and then change your behavior. Here's one thing that I do. Sometimes I like to sit on desk, just talking. And I had a kid sit on the desk and I was like, dang. All right, I need to get down. I'll stop doing that. I'll just sit in the chair correctly. Kind of hard because I like sitting on the desk. But I stopped and it worked out perfectly fine. So I feel like this is going to be a short episode only on the fact of doing as I do replaces do as I say, because we live in a different time where kids really want to follow the examples of those they look up to, might respect, but definitely look in a way where they want to act like a certain person. And if you're that person, be honest with yourself, look at what you're doing. Are you being the example that you want them to be? And if you slip up, are you honest about it? Are you open to changing yourself? And if not, then you're not. I mean, you still got to do whatever you're going to do. No one's in charge of you, right? Anyways, that's it for today. Bye.